Hello, everybody. This is Tom O'Savin, the Director of Tax Content and Government Relations at NATP, inviting you to tune in, participate in our upcoming webinar on determining qualifying dependents. So you might be asking yourself, why would someone find this course valuable or viable in your practice? You know, I'm going to start off by saying when I was a young person, long time ago, a teacher once told me that sometimes concepts can be so easy that they're hard. So we think we know what a dependent is, but there's always circumstances that fall out of the mainstream. You might think it's easy to identify that dependent, but I'm going to challenge you in participating in this to consider such issues as, is your parent possibly a dependent? Does deciding not to claim a dependent make that person independent? So what's the difference then between a qualifying child and a qualifying relative? Finally, something to contemplate or ponder for this webinar would be, what do you do if two people qualify to claim the same dependent? Is there a difference between those people who aren't married if they agree? What do you do if they can't agree? So some points to ponder. Now, the question comes up, have there been any recent tax law changes that impact the topic? And I will say there are and there aren't. Don't you love that as an answer? Because when you think about it, qualifying child and qualifying relative rules have been around for quite a while now. But what's happened because of the pandemic is we had so many changes to things like the child tax credit, dependent care credit, the additional child tax credit, and we need to understand and get ourselves back in focus as to how these rules apply and what the laws are actually now. I know there's lots of speculation. It seems like whenever we're in an election year and politicians start talking about running for re-election, it always seems like there's some benefit that they want to give to families with children. That's all great, but what I want to do is have you separate out the difference between what the facts are as you're preparing returns in 2024 for the 2023 tax year, what the facts are and what the speculation is. We'll stay away from speculation so that you can deal with facts in working with your clients. So you might be asking yourself, well, who's this directed towards? Who should attend this webinar? And I will say, you know, I've been a practitioner for a long time, and any practitioner who might be confused about those general rules. What about tax professionals who want to just make certain that they're providing advice which gives their client the most advantageous tax outcome? Are we getting the best use of the laws within the law? Tax professionals who maybe haven't thought about all of the different options that might be available. And finally, tax professionals who have clients who come in that might be outside what we consider to be the traditional family. What about examples with unmarried persons who have a child? What about divorce arrangements and how those claims are handled? You know, how about when we talk about foster care? And here's one that'll come up not very often, but what happens with your ability to get some tax credits when you happen to host a exchange student? Again, not issues that come up all the time. We'll cover these because we want to understand the basics of the law that apply to what we almost always see, and then what about those rules that are out there on the fringes of what are the best uses of these credits. And then finally, what are some of the takeaways that I hope you would have? I hope you leave with a clearer understanding of what separates a qualifying child from a qualifying relative. I want you to have the resources. We're hoping to actually give you a flow chart or a decision tree that you can use and have in your toolbox to use when you're meeting with a client, and you can go through the decision tree as to whether or not we're doing the best we can for that client, and have that resource at your fingertips. What benefits that follow the person who claims the dependent? Is it always going to be the benefits have to go with who claims the dependent? Even if they don't claim the dependent, are there still benefits available to that parent, or I'll throw out the term custodial parent? All of this will be discussed about in our upcoming webinar on determining qualifying dependents. We hope to see you there.